What's up? What's up, everybody? Sean and Ryan here for your week 4 recap. This matchup here, we've got this host slaps versus what used to be too many cooks, which is now cut my team into pieces. That's Alex versus Daniel. For Alex's team here, he started this week Anthony Richardson, DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Alvin Kamara, and George Pickens. So, Sean, what'd you like from Alex's team here this week?
Biggest takeaways is you have Anthony Richardson right here. Rookie is just balling right now, 29 points. Looks like the real deal here. Both in real life and in fantasy. So
Yeah,
he's not just running it. He's just not. Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything. He's passing it. He's rushing. He's moving well inside the pocket, so he looks really good right now. And then the other one right here is Derrick Henry. We actually see Derrick Henry with 122 rushing yards. He actually looked like the Derrick Henry of old. So you take that as you will. I mean, I believe Tajay Spears also had 7 fantasy points, so it's not like Derrick Henry is the only use here in Tennessee. And I know a lot of analysts are actually low on Derrick Henry. So
yeah.
If Alex needs any depth, I would just be saying, maybe you package Henry plus someone else. You either do a trade up or you do a trade down for depth.
Yeah. No, I agree. Taking a look at, sorry, cutting here. But taking a look at Derrick Henry's schedule too, if you're trying to package, like trying to get some depth here, and you're looking at packaging Derrick Henry away, Derrick Henry has a pretty decent, at least as of right now, he's got a pretty decent playoff schedule. So that could be something you can mention also.
Definitely.
Yeah, and taking a look at Anthony Richardson too, I remember draft season, during the off season, there was all this hype about CJ Stroud, all the hype about who else, Bryce Young, Will Levis, and there was a lot of hype on Anthony Richardson too, but a lot of the analysts were saying he's not the most polished, he's not the one that looks the most NFL ready, he might not be able to throw as much. They were predicting that he would be running the ball a lot more, but I mean, to be honest, it looks like, comparing with Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, like the top quarterbacks that were the prospects there, I think he's he's playing better than Bryce Young. I think CJ Stroud is balling out, but I think Anthony Richardson is balling out too.
Yeah, he definitely has the advantage with the rushing capabilities. So just for fantasy purposes, I would give the Richardson the edge over CJ Stroud, but I mean, Stroud has been airing it out too, so you choose your poison in terms of high power offense for fantasy, at least.
The other thing here that I liked for Alex's team was seeing Alvin Kamara come back from his suspension, and he had a pretty decent amount of usage in his first game back. He had 11 rushing touches and 14 targets. I mean, dude. And you mentioned it in a previous video too, a previous recording. He had 13 receptions, and PPR, whether we're half PPR or full PPR, the more receptions you get, oh my gosh, that's what you love to see.
I would say that is probably one of the goofiest stat lines I've seen for a running back.
Yeah,
13 receptions for 33 receiving yards. I think the footballers looked up a stat, and that was one of the lowest amount of receiving yards per
reception
number of receptions.
Yeah.
So the fact that he got that on his first time coming back, and Kentre Miller was still in playing. So there was questions on whether Kamara would get the full usage, or if he would go back to kind of his rookie year where he was only passing downs type deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, he still looks good here with this usage.
Yeah, and the other thing too for Kamara is just, Derek Carr, he's not afraid to check down. He knows check down is where it's at. So I think if we're seeing this amount of usage, this amount of receptions, targets for him. I think this 33 yards is an outlier. It's his first game back, so he's still probably trying to find his feet under him. So I think this 33 yards next week, let's say 13 receptions next week, I think this 33 yards jumps up to, I don't know, say 50 minimum,
I would just say that Derek Carr did not look good, so he's
Mhm.
probably still not healthy. They probably rushed him back.
Yeah.
You probably could have given him a game or two.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe he, just because of his injury, he was forced to check it down, versus kind of wait in the pocket and throw the deeper throw.
Yeah.
Because if you looked at Chris Olave over here for Daniel,
Daniel's team, yeah.
Barely 1 point. So, not a good day for Derek Carr.
No, for sure. And I think a good day for Derek Carr is going to translate to both Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, because I think they're pretty much the top options on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing here for me was Alex Madison. I think Alexander Madison, he hasn't been playing as much as up to par as much as everybody was hoping in the offseason, but he's still throwing out pretty strong games, especially when you're thinking that Cam Akers came in, and I think it was more so a move that they wanted to make to try to get Madison a little bit of fire under his butt.
Yeah, Cam Akers is there. He did get a little bit of usage, but at this point, I think as long as Madison is good, then they'll keep rolling the hot hand. And if Madison starts doing his fumble issues again or anything like that, you could be pretty sure that Cam Akers is going to start seeing an uptick in usage.
Yeah, very true. All right, let's move on to Daniel's team here. Daniel started this week Kirk Cousins, Chris Olave, Jerry Jeudy, James Cook, Zach Moss, George Kittle, Tony Pollard, and Tutu Atwell. So what did you like here? What did you not like?
I did not like anything here. Just looking over at this team, 57 points. It feels like
unfortunate.
It's been a pretty low season because we still haven't had teams consistently getting 130, 140, 150 plus.
Yeah.
So even if you look at a lot of the scores, it's still been pretty low, 90s to 110 or whatever. Not that high. We've seen higher so far, and we're coming up on week 5. So, teams like the Bengals, where you expected them to be high-powered offense, give that huge contract to Joe Burrow, and now they're actually one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yep.
Can you believe that? I'm saying my Broncos have a better offense right now, even just for fantasy, but in real life than the Bengals.
You just put that thought in my mind, and I just realized that is true. The Broncos offense has looked a lot better than the Bengals offense. That's so bad.
Granted, you have some of the easier games, like say the Raiders that the Broncos have played, or the over 80-yard Hail Mary into the end zone that Wilson was able to convert. So they have, that's a little bit funny on their stats, but regardless of comebacks and late comebacks, they're still putting up points compared to the Bengals, who can't even come back to put up points.
Yeah, that's very true.
So all that to say, this 57 here for Daniel is pretty low. You look at Olave there, we already talked about Derek Carr being hurt. Kirk Cousins right here with a really bad game against Carolina. I'm assuming that this is going to be a lot better, especially if they're trailing from behind next week against Kansas City. So they're going to be forced to throw it a lot more, which is good for that passing attack.
Yeah.
James Cook, it really looked like they were trying to make a concerted effort to get him in the end zone. I really wanted that Josh Allen touchdown for myself, and even I knew they were doing that on purpose. They're just trying to get the kid, to get a touchdown here. So looking at that, Pollard underwhelmed, especially in the win here, but he didn't really have to do much. So at this point, if you're Daniel, you're hoping that Saquon Barkley comes back healthy and that Cooper Kupp comes back healthy.
Yeah, and I was saying too, when we were talking about with my team, if Cooper comes back, I'm scared to see what Puka Nakua's target share is going to be, because
Hmm.
obviously Cooper Cup is their guy. I don't think they're going to say, "Oh, hey, Cooper Cup, we've got Puka Nakua now, so we're going to limit your share. We're going to cut you in half." I don't think he's there just yet. Cooper Cup is still their guy.
I think the one thing I would say that I wouldn't be too afraid with you, because I know I was kind of afraid of that, and I had um, oh man, a terrible trade looking like now. I had Nick Chubb go down in another league, and I ended up trading Puka for who was it, for Ramondre Stevenson.
Hmm.
So, and I already had Devonte Adams and CeeDee Lamb. It's like I don't need another wide receiver. I'm already starting Damian Pearson, you know, Jalen Warren or whatever,
Yeah.
some scrub off of the waiver wire. So um, I think your Puka is going to be fine. If anything, with Puka being young and fitting in this offense here, I could see Cooper Cup maybe trying to roll out and do the Robert Woods, especially with his hamstring and his age.
Yeah.
They're not going to give him the full usage that he was once getting, at least when he's initially coming back. So,
Well, I will say one last thing. The other interesting thing here for Daniel's team, with Cooper Cup possibly coming back in the next few weeks, uh, what do you do with Tutu Atwell? He's had some pretty consistent usage too, and I think
mm-hmm.
I think Tutu Atwell is a very good complement player to the Cooper Cup Puka Nacua style of wide receiver. So I think Daniel should hold on to Tutu Atwell, but at the same time, that correlation with Cooper Cup and Tutu it's not very good. So I think you might
Mm-hmm.
want to try to package him away, trade him away to somewhere. But
I mean,
that depends if somebody needs that wide receiver depth or not.
at that point, you could try and package them away either with Burrow or Cousins
Yep.
for something. Maybe Cousins more because Burrow. For me, Burrow is close to being a drop candidate, especially in our redraft league where it's only one QB.
Yeah.
Um, you saw. Russell Wilson's probably still on the waiver wire, and that would be better than Joe Burrow at this point. So if he was able to package Cousins, Tutu Atwell, or anyone else here, um, then I would try and do that just to bolster this depth a little bit more. I'd say, especially you don't want to have two QBs
Yeah.
chilling on your roster, especially when you could be for upside playing something else on the waiver.
No, for sure. Well, looks like, unfortunately, Daniel, you're gonna have a loss here, dropping to 1-3. I am pretty sure your team will do better next week. I can't see this 57 point happening again. Hopefully it doesn't. Alex, good job. Congrats on your win. But that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.